We'll try.
All right, so this is her 10th speech, and it'll be 8 to 10 minutes long, and we'll figure out what it is when she gets there.
All right, how many of you here like puzzles? Anyone? Okay, good, because I love them, and to this day, I still go over to Stephanie's house, and we're nerds. We sit there and work on puzzles together and eat food. So I decided that we're going to use a puzzle today as a metaphor. And this puzzle is going to represent the framework of our lives. And I've already added a few pieces in, and what I started with was, we're born, we come into existence, and then we start adding little pieces. Maybe we get taken care of well with our food and our physical needs. We have a good, safe home, and at this point we have loving parents, right? Good, strong foundation. But what happens when the pieces aren't quite what we expected? And let's say your parents fall out of love, and they decide they're going to get a divorce, and the piece doesn't fit. But you're a child, and you have to make it fit, so you just shove it in there and make it work. Well, I'm going to share one of my pieces with you today. As a child, I was a victim of sexual abuse. I didn't cry at all practicing this. And I want to share my story with you. Started about the age of 5, and it was from 2 different perpetrators. And part of me knew there was something not right with it, because I was told to keep it a secret. And then part of me felt ashamed because I allowed it to happen. And so it's like this guilt and the shame, so you almost don't want to tell somebody because you're guilty too. And so it happened for a long time, and there were multiple times where my mom was this close to finding out, and then another lie was told and another secret was kept. Until one day when I was 12, and I said, I've had enough. And I said, no, you will never touch me again. And I fled to the bathroom and I locked myself in until my older sister came. And I told her what happened, and she took me to my adult sister's house where I could be somewhere safe. And it never happened again. Now, at this point, you probably hope to hear the abusers were punished and justice was served. And that wasn't exactly how it went, but things were brought to light. And I often wonder if the abusers themselves, how much guilt and shame they carry for the pain they caused me, because it wasn't a secret anymore. And maybe for them, maybe that's punishment enough. But because I stood up and I said no, I raised an awareness to something that was happening, and I stopped the pattern. Now, this has gone with me a bit throughout my life. As you guys know, child traumatic experiences do. And just in the last couple of years, I was able to forgive. And I didn't want to forgive because the anger is what kept me safe. The anger is what got me to say no. The anger is what kept my walls up and protected me from 12 on. And so I was afraid if I let go of that anger, that I would get hurt again, that I was opening myself up to be hurt again. And my husband helped me realize that it's okay, honey. Like, you can let it go. It's not yours to carry anymore. And I did let it go. And even though none of this was my fault, none of your childhood traumatic experiences are your fault, but it is my responsibility to deal with it and to get through it and to get past it. And I feel like that's what I've done. But how do you get there? How do you do this? How do you deal with it when you've had something traumatic? Well, I've written a little acronym. And you guys, I had to throw a little humor in here because you know I'm silly. But the acronym is the first word is awareness, because whether you're recognizing it's happening to you or to someone else, it needs to be known, right? That's pretty simple. But then it gets a little harder when you get to acceptance. Maybe you've lost a loved one and you're having a really hard time dealing with it. That's I feel like a bigger step. And when you get to acceptance, that's when the emotion comes. And for me, I wrote anger, because for me, it was anger. And I was pissed that someone would take advantage of me. And once I get through the anger, it's like I get to go to the tears and the emotion, and it feels amazing. And there's actual scientific proof that tears are made up of toxins and negative emotions and stress. And so when you release those, you're releasing those toxins, and it raises your good feeling hormones, your endorphins, so you're going to feel better. Because I always feel better after I have a good cry. And I cry enough. I'm not saying how often. One of the next steps would be to get help. Am I really at 8 minutes already? Is the green correct?
Is that?
Okay, I was like, man, I gotta cut this short. Okay, so the next step is help. And granted, you can get help anywhere in here. Now, I've gone through quite a few courses, self-help, emotional counseling, and there's a lot of options out there. And here's the thing, it seems like the obvious solution, but let's think about this for a minute. Let's say you slice your hand open and you're bleeding profusely, right? You wouldn't look at that and say, I'll deal with it later. Hello? You would know that there's consequences. You would know that there'd be infection, loss of blood, and I'm not a nurse, so I don't know what else. But you would not do that. But we do that with emotions, and they have similar consequences. My mom is proof of that. She had severe abuse as a child, and much more severe than I, and she never really dealt with it. I think her dad's passed, and she hasn't forgiven him. And that's okay. But the other day I called her crying about something, and she said, you know what, honey? It's so good that you can cry, because I don't know how to cry anymore. I can't cry anymore. And the way her emotion tends to come out is passive-aggressive anger and fear, unfortunately, mixed with love. But that's how she's dealt with it. That's all she knows. So let's make a different choice, because we are empowered. We can make a different choice, and maybe we get through all of this and we get to the point where we can ask ourselves not, why did this happen to me? Because we've all said that a few times. But why did this happen for me? Why did it? And I've gotten to the point where I don't know all the answers, but I've come up with a few reasons that I think, things I've learned from it. And one of those things is that I've learned compassion and understanding for other victims. I've learned that I am strong as hell. I have learned that forgiveness does not mean I have to let that person or that incident back into my life and happen again. And I have learned that secrets kept in a home cause problems. And so we talk about everything with our kids to the point of embarrassment, where they're like, Mom, gosh. But you know what? They know they can come to me for anything. We can talk about anything. So, we all have different puzzles we're working on, and it doesn't matter what the pieces are made of or how many puzzles. Maybe they're beautiful and they're finished. Maybe they're just being in creation mode. And maybe some of my pieces become part of your puzzle. And maybe some of your pieces become part of my puzzle. Whatever that is, I hope for you leave with today knowing that trauma is never your fault. But you can be empowered and have the responsibility and the choice to choose better. What are you going to do? Well, don't look to me for answers. You are the creators of your own life. You decide.